Thank you. So welcome to this session of Spark initiative. We're calling it 2.0. From where we left, we'll start exactly from there. Thank you very much for all joining. And this session will be recorded. People who will miss out in this session will still allow the latecomers to join. But people who will miss out, who will make this recording available to them. I am thankful to Saurabh, who will be doing the presentation today, and I will be assisting him. So over to you, Saurabh. Before I
Yeah,
start, I acknowledge that all of us have joined from various indigenous land. I have joined from the Darug land, and I pay my respect to the Barma Regal people who are the traditional custodian of this land where I create work, where I live, and I pay my respect to the elders past, present, and emerging, and I extend the same for all of you from your respective Aboriginal land where you have logged in to this session. Thank you very much once again. Over to you, Saurabh.
thank you. So I'll just cut to the chase up front, guys. Let me just share my screen so we can just walk through the presentation. See, I'm actually finally organized, Neha. Can you believe that? It's actually happening.
I think I was never organized enough to judge on other people's organization.
Okay. Neil, just to put a bit of context, essentially the reason why I said that is when I used to go into the class to teach these guys, I never had markers. I never had any notes. I'll walk in and one of my students, Aditi, I actually met with Aditi recently. She would say, do you even plan? I said, nah, man, I've got the brain over here. I'll just say things, and if it works, it works. It doesn't work, that's on you. It's
First
your
lesson we walk
HSC.
in and he's like, "What is a pen?" And we're like, "Okay."
I am exactly like that, Saurabh and Neha. Most of my presentations, even the serious presentation, I just turn up there. Okay, of course, I mean, there's a little bit of preparation. Definitely, you do. But I actually prefer to sort of speak spontaneously. And then after the presentation, always I think that, oh, damn, I should have actually, spoken about this. It's always because you're not prepared, but that is the trade-off. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'll go
so
mute.
I took the liberty of setting this deck up because I think, but Neha, you may know a lot of these things, but Ankita's coming in new. Just before we get started, just wanted to let you know there's been an increase in the number of people, but many of them are overseas, and Haswin is actually got a emergency. She's had to scoot to. She's okay, but yeah, she just wanted to send her apologies. So Ankita, just so you know, we currently will have including yourself, Ankita, Neha, Haswin, Satya, Jada, Isha, Manya. That's seven. Am I missing anybody else?
Netra and
Netra,
yeah, and Ria.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we are getting on to almost 10 odd people
sure.
in different capacities. So
Okay.
that's how we. Now, because I'm creatively challenged in terms of design, I used some AI stuff to create it's a placeholder logo. You guys can do much better than I can. So that's the Nautanki Spark initiative. I'm just going to invite Neil to just give us a little bit of an overview about Nautanki itself. That's about and then from there we can take it to Spark.
Sure. Thanks very much. I'll very quickly go through purely from this presentation and the recordings point of view. So the company started in 2012, 23, and then we are a registered non-for-profit organization. That is how we started in Parramatta. And we were looking for a space where we could start building our body of work. So when we started this company, we had a vision. Of course, the vision was not that big when it's a bit of hindsight now, but everything is like that, and hindsight is always very sweet. So if I could actually take the pointer back to 2012, I approached Riverside Theatre in Parramatta, and I presented a really lousy presentation to to them. And after literally 2.5 minutes of presentation, the director then, Robert Love, he said that, okay, all right, you don't have to present. I know what you what you're trying to do. Let's start this collaboration as a one-off basis, and then we'll see. So that is how the journey of Nautanki Theatre started, and then with a production called Indian Embrace in 2013, which was presented at Riverside Theatre. Since then, the relationship with Riverside Theatre has gone from strength to strength. We started building our body of work. We reached out to the audience and started building the South Asian audience, culturally and linguistically diverse audience. We started commissioning writers. We started creating opportunities for performers, actors. We started creating creative opportunities for the crew, lighting designers, all creatives through our stage work, basically. And then we also started the capacity building. So various projects in the last decade or so, a little more than a decade, in fact, we started in Parramatta. The actual journey of Nautanki Theatre, real journey, first 5 years were sort of little haphazard, as it happens for any startup companies. And then from 2018, we started sort of streamlining all the projects. And by 2020, we had a good this process in place until COVID came and derailed us. After 2 years of COVID, we again sort of, thankfully, we survived. A lot of organizations, they couldn't. We didn't have Nautanki Theatre didn't have any funding, annual funding, or any support, financial support in terms of sustainability. But somehow it's still a mystery. We survived, and after COVID, we again picked up the pieces, and then for the another next 2 years, from 22 to 24, we gathered ourselves and emerged as an organization. We restructured our board. We restructured the company, and it's looking a solid, structured company now. We have, in the last couple of years, had a bit of on and off, a bit of success with the grant opportunities as well at the grant front. So we were able to commission a few writers, presented a few work, and then we are carrying on with it. So basically, I am really happy and satisfied as the artistic director of Nautanki Theatre. Towards the end of 2025, we are in a really solid state as an organization. We have a fantastic board. Of course, Saurabh is part of the board, who looks after the governance. It's one of the best in terms of talent pool, one of the best talent pools in New South Wales, I would say. And we have, in the last 12, 13 years, created a network, a cohort of primarily South Asian creatives, which is the biggest in Australia. And this year, we started this Spark initiative. A little background about the Spark initiative. We renamed the Spark initiative in the last couple of years. We slowly started building a youth-centric project, and we called it a Z-Axis. But this year, we rebranded, reimagined, rescoped that project, and we are calling it a Spark initiative. And alongside me, Saurabh is delivering this project. Thank you, Saurabh, and you fantastic people who are present today, whom Saurabh and I had an opportunity to interact in the past, and people who have joined. I haven't seen them, but I hear from Saurabh, some of you who are currently traveling. I welcome you again to the Spark initiative. Saurabh will be unpacking the scope of the Spark initiative from where we left, what progress we have done, and as a company, Nautanki Theatre, what it has to offer in the year 2026. Thank you, Saurabh, for this opportunity. Over to you.
Thank you, Neil. I know that Neha, you're facing some issues, so don't worry about it. Just as long as you can hear us, that's good. If you want to switch off your screen, that's up to you. But we are recording this for other people. So, we started with it was a conversation while I was driving from school and I was talking to Neil about this, and we started talking about there's a massive voice of the South Asian young people from Western Sydney in particular that we don't really hear much. We haven't heard much from them. So we decided that the first step that we'll try and do is create some sort of like a platform to disseminate and give them a place to have their voice. This resulted in the first initiative was a plenary on notions of identity. We presented this concept called lost in translation as the issue of identity for a South Asian youth in Western Sydney diasporic community. We did a recording of that plenary, which basically we had no idea. We invited a lot of people in, Haswin, Neha, Antora, who's currently in UK. They all just came in and then they just talked, and Neil and I were just gobsmacked with the depth and the passion and the real deep understanding of the notions of identity that you are grappling with every day that we old farts have no major idea about. And so that was an eye-opener. There's a link in this presentation that is a very short clip on this. And Ankita, if you want, we'll obviously share this presentation with all of you so you can watch it. I'm just gonna skip to the next bit. This then resulted in creating the plenary happened a few months before the theatre mela was being done by Nautanki. So following on from the plenary, we thought that why not give some creative impetus and a creative voice to the conversations and the discussions, that the points that were raised in the plenary, which resulted in a poster art project. I think we had like a 2-month turnaround from memory, Neil.
Yeah.
It was a short turnaround, and we opened the gates and we said to all people who were involved that, guys, we just want you to come up with your own creative ideas around notions of identity as a South Asian youth in Australia and Western Sydney, and go whatever you want, creative independence. We are not editorializing it in any way. You decide where you want to take it and how you want to interpret it. And as you can see, Ankita, I've given snapshots of the posters. They were spectacular. Like, there's no word for it. The artwork, the voice, and the concepts that they tried to bring out. I mean, again, Neil and I have been left totally dazzled by it. We printed these out. Nautanki printed them out, framed them, and we put it up as a gallery in Theatre Mela. And I think, Neil, you can talk to us about how the people received it when we presented it there.
Absolutely. Okay, so first they thought that there's some sort of display, and then when they had a little bit of closer look, because every artwork had a little bit of description, then for them, penny actually dropped. And I got many in-person comments through social media, through emails, text messages about this project. Which is fantastic, which is really fantastic. And as you mentioned, Saurabh, the articulation of these young people through this poster art presentation was completely, I mean, this is definitely blew me away. And I still think, and at some stage we have to sort of sit down and talk to these participants who were part of this poster presentation, that I still think this material is good enough to be curated, and it deserves it. To be curated as a visual art exhibition, and we can actually pitch it to various galleries and see if they are actually interested. I think this project has a lot of legs to be curated and be commissioned. If there is a little bit of enhancement we have to make, we'll do it, but there is a huge scope ahead.
Yeah, it was quite phenomenal. They were the concepts were like, if I just for an example, this one was Satya's. If you can see my cursor, the superb enough one. Satya's background, he's he's got a gender background that he's transitioning, he's transitioned, and and he sort of brought that, the angst that he felt, the troubles and the trauma that he had to go through as a South Asian transitioning in Australia, and he brought that through his metaphor of birds. It was just mind blowing what he did with it. This one, the next to it, was essentially about on the stage, what is the position of a South Asian performer, and how people just turn their faces because they expect the norm. But when you challenge the norm, there's only one face in the crowd who's actually looking and hearing. Jada's one was talking about, again, notions of identity, both gendered and non-gendered, and the fluidity of being a person that can move through diverse parameters, diverse diasporic identities. There was the netting, and then Neha would be the best person to talk about it, but she's obviously offline. The netting, unwinding, and the winding up of different languages, and trying to make yourself articulate when you're working with diverse tongues, and you've got diverse cultural implications. Isha's was about the trauma of partition, the trauma of migration itself, and the desire to connect to the land that they have left behind, and the generational notions that have come from there, done through poetry and through photographs of her travel to Punjab, where she connected to her roots. Like, it was just, yeah, there are no words to describe how amazing it was. So, having done these two things, Neil and I then thought, well, let's take it further. So, what we are presenting to Spark Initiative 2.0 participants are diverse opportunities. In the last few months, Neil's been actively working behind the scenes. And, oh, you're here. Welcome back. And there are, at least from memory, three big platforms, three big opportunities for you to have a voice in. One is the Parramatta Lanes Festival that's coming up in October 21st to 24th. Nautanki Theatre would want to present your work in as part of that Parramatta Lanes Festival. We will, of course, talk about the kinds of work you want to do. Again, there will be complete creative independence. We are not going to dictate what you want to do. That is not our job. Our job is primarily as facilitators of your voice. Then there is the South Asian Theatre Mela, which has essentially made Neil age over the years. Every Theatre Mela adds about 50 years on his life, but it's worth it. And every year it just gets bigger and bigger and better. So we have opportunities there of different kinds, and I've talked about the different modes of representation that you can look at. There's the Parramatta Literary Festival 2026, which was inaugural this year, and this was, if you remember, this was the one that I actually got the play reading happening on that. So that's now becoming an annual thing. And Nautanki, Neil, do you want to talk about your Nautanki's engagement with this?
Yeah, sure. So it started as in 25 as an inaugural festival targeted in Parramatta, but looks like it is going to be an annual event. We are working in the background. There are so what we are proposing is we are making a collective. So instead of one organization, this collective will be responsible in delivering a Parramatta Literature Festival. We are expanding the scope, but this will be a very own to Parramatta. We are aiming the month of September to be dedicated for the literary activities in Parramatta. So far, I know that Nautanki Theatre is the only performing arts organization who is a part of Parramatta Literature Festival. This has been branded as Parramatta's Lit. So we have a great future for Parramatta's Lit in 2026 and beyond. And we think Spark Initiative may actually find a good opportunity in this year, in 2026 or beyond, in parameters lit. So let's see. Okay, at this stage, it's still the possibilities, and that's the reason we are having this discussion. Over to you, Saurav.
So, and there are ongoing council partnerships that we are working with. Because Riverside has shut down for renovations, there are issues around the logistics of that, but there are ongoing discussions with diverse Western Sydney councils who have shown interest in hosting different exhibitions and different places where we can have like theater, things like that. What I wanted to share with you is also what we could actually do is the different kinds of things that we would want your thoughts on. Primarily, Neil and I were debating that we look at four main modes. Theater, but not just like big 3-act plays. They could be monologues, they could be short 1-act plays, they could be one-person acts, they could be stand-up acts. Anything which has a theatrical component. I've put the spoken word separate, although performance poetry has a theatrical component to it. But there the focus is largely on the poetic aspect of it. So we have the spoken word. In fact, Neil, I was just talking to an Extension 2 student at our school who is keen on writing a performance poetry piece around caste and religion dogmas that we bring from home to the West and hold on to them because we are so scared of the complex identity clashes.
Amazing. There is a group of friends. They are based in Melbourne. They are actually working on this topic. Unfortunately, there's not much actively happening in New South Wales. But Victoria and New South Wales, this group, I am part of them. They are doing really fantastic work, meaningful work, of how these tabooed things are not getting discussed properly. As this, like what I'm trying to say is in the contrast, one aspect, dowry and the domestic violence, in the last 10 years, the way South Asian diaspora was able to talk about it, not the caste and the feelings associated with it, which are imported from overseas, or so as to speak, in their homelands. Okay, it's not been talked. So it's about time we start talking about it, and it'll be only, this is about time we start talking about it. So yeah, good that the younger generations are also watching it, feeling it, and they are feeling a responsibility to express it creatively, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I had a long meeting with this kid today, and it was fantastic. Like my mind was, it was just the ideas are so good. So that could be just an example of the kind of projects that we can look at. We also have, of course, we've had an experience with poster art, but paintings, street art. I am really not sure about Parramatta Lanes if it gives us an opportunity to actually do street art over there and maybe use chalk and all.
I'm trying to sort of this. So Parramatta Artist Studio, they are also involved in Parramatta Lanes. I'm trying to sort of convince them for the street art, graffiti, and all those things to be properly included and curated in those festivals. Blacktown has, I think, a graffiti street art exhibition component already. So it is getting popular in the council's annual projects. So hopefully Parramatta Lane will also have that component, but there are other opportunities as well.
And then we've got, I know Neha, you have a dance background as well, don't you? No, you have a music background. You're classical musically trained. Yeah, that's right. So we've got the possibilities of doing some dance performances, and I did not touch on music, but I think it's something worth exploring as well. Because if we have platforms that we can provide performances which are not traditional, but have that different angle to things, that basically gives you the voice. Because we don't want to just go in and listen to a Hindustani classical. We want to actually give you what does the young South Asian voice sound like when it takes bits of different musical components, and it could well be a fusion environment. It could be using a didgeridoo as part of your Carnatic classical. I don't know. I mean, it's all up there. Now, the thing to keep in mind is, I mean, there's a reason why I'm using the word unleashed, because we do not want to in any way restrict the ideas to flow. This is going to be your baby. You decide how you want to raise it, where you want to take it. The role that we play is, we'll go into that in a minute. What we need from you, from all the participants who are watching this, and from those of you who have joined us, first, we need to expand the initiative's membership. So what we would like, appreciate it, you are far more socially connected than I will ever be in this lifetime, is to try and get at least 2 people that you know who are equally interested and passionate about these ideas. Get them involved in this. All you need to do is just email Neil and me their contact details, or ask them to email it to me, and then I'll put them into the WhatsApp group, and that expands the scope automatically. So if each one of you bring in 2 people, that it suddenly becomes a massive thing from just 4 or 5 people trying to do things on your own. The second thing, what we would like, just to provide some structure to it, is a proposal statement by middle of January 2026, because all these things are happening from September, October. We need to have enough lead time to help you develop the project and deliver it. By middle of January 2026, it could be an individual proposal, or it could be a proposal that you guys come together as a team. You may have small teams or groups or pairs, whichever way you want to work. Or you can bring the 2 people you want to work with and work with them and present here the proposal. Totally up to you. The proposal essentially should not be more than a page. We don't want to kind of, you're already finishing diverse university assignments. I want to throw you another essay to write. Essentially, it would need to have an overview of what you want to do, what mode, what form, and what purpose. Where and how would you like us to help you showcase it? So it could well be in one of these platforms. If we feel, after we talk about it with you, that we may not be able to do it, we'll try and find some other platform for you. It may be happening this year, it may happen over time, but we will have that as a serious discussion point. And how you think it links to the ethos of Western Sydney South Asian youth identity. If there is anything that is common to these projects proposals, it would be that identity, culture, perspective of a particular way, a particular demographic. The reason why I'm saying that it's important to have some sort of a linchpin to hold it is that otherwise everything becomes a bit nebulous. There needs to be something that actually connects you to your fundamental core thought process and ideologies. Then we can take it and fly with it. The analogy would be like, when you fly a kite, you still need to anchor it, and you need to hold on to the string, but you let the kite fly, go with the wind, do whatever you want, design the kite whichever way you want. But that holding the string is that Western Sydney South Asian youth culture perspective. That's the one that we're looking at. And if we can get these proposals by mid-January 2026, then Nautanki will sit down, and that's the next step. We will have an ongoing meeting. We expect to have a meeting end January 2026, focusing on the submitted project briefs with all of you. So we are not making editorial decisions again. We will have a discussion. We will discuss, and as an initiative collective, we will decide, okay, this year, let's focus on these ones. We will obviously provide our guidance, because Neil knows more about the logistics and things than I even do. We will provide ongoing creative support wherever you want it, whenever you want it. You just need to let us know, and we'll be helping you out. Yeah.
Just to let you know, I will not be around in Australia for all of January.
Okay,
I'm coming back in the start of February only.
that's fine. Stuff can be done online.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, you can negotiate online. We live in a digital world, man. It's a global village. Wherever you are, we are here. So, just no issues on that front, Ankita. And because right now, for example, I know that Isha is not going to come back till like in January from UK. Satya has gone to US. Manya will be back by mid-January. So there are people who'll be everywhere. It doesn't matter. We can still talk on WhatsApp. We can still talk on email. We can still do Zoom conferences. You can start incubating certain ideas, start thinking about the ideas, send the ideas across to people that are like-minded, have the conversation. And if you're coming in February, then we could even look at early February for our first meeting. No issues. We'll work around that. Don't worry about it. The logistical cost for the delivery of this creative work within means, Nautanki will bear it. We don't want you to think logistics just yet. We do want to train you towards thinking logistics, because there is the artistic aspect of creativity, and then there's the bread and butter, ticking boxes activity of creativity. I'm learning that from Neil. He's like, okay, great idea. Now let's sit down and do the brass tacks. Brass tacks are boring for creative people, but that's what we want you. We want you to look at both the boring and the exciting parts, because they together come together. And of course, we will have ongoing meetings with the collective. And the idea then is that once we decide on the project briefs and we look at the relevant timelines, we start working on implementation and delivery of it. That is pretty much it from me. Questions, comments, ideas, the floor is open.
While you are deciding the project question, I would actually emphasize on expanding this group, the cohort. So currently we have about 10 participants. So as Saurabh mentioned, as Nautanki's expectation, each participant should actually bring in 2 more similar mindset into this group, and then suddenly we are looking at 30 participants. That'll be a good number. We in the meeting, I think in the past also we discussed this 25, 30 would be a good number to start this kind of project. Then there is a sense of this making decision democratically. There is a group. You can also split the group in say this 15 and 15, and then this or divide the groups in few parts depending on your creative aspiration. So if the number is about 25 to 30, that is the bare minimum of number, and it makes sense also to work with that kind of cohort. Any number less than that, I'm not saying that it cannot be done, but when we are looking at we are envisaging this project as a big project, and this is going to be an ongoing project, it's good to start with a number which is 30. So please go and see if you can actually find 2 contributor. Not both has to be a contributor. Okay, if someone is excited, we all have those kind of friends around us who is actually want to be the watcher. Okay, just to be around. Okay, and support you. Okay, we all have those kinds of friends, so they are also fine. I mean, there's not all of them needs to be taking part creatively. If someone is coming to sort of be as a supporter and for want of better words, consuming your work, that is also fine. That is also fine, as long as they have the commitment, they believe in this project, and they stand by you and the group. That's fine.
Yeah, that's right. It's essentially, spread the word. And then spread the word with the ideas. That makes it even more exciting. Ankita, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited. Sounds good. I'm already trying to think of who I should recommend.
Yeah. And also start thinking about once you talk to them, like-minded people, where you want to take it, what you want to think of. That'll be good. Neha?
Honestly, not much. I'm just trying to think of something I'd be interested in talking about as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Look, I've got to talk to Neil about something which I can't say just yet, but there is a potentially interesting development that I've just heard about, Neil. I'll talk to you about it, which might add more to Spark Initiative. But we'll talk about that offline. So, guys, basically, this is what the whole point of this meeting was. It's unfortunate that we could not meet face to face, but that's life. What we'll do now is we will be, if you don't have any further questions, we will send this recording across to all members. We'll put it up somewhere there you can access it. I will email all the members the PowerPoint presentation. As I said, you can always feel free to send queries by email, by WhatsApp. You have my number. Feel free to ask as many questions as you want. I am around. Even if I'm not in Sydney, I'll still be online, so I can always answer. Neil can always answer if I'm not available, but between the two of us, we'll be more than happy to answer any queries you may have. Don't at any point think that there are any restrictions to the ideas. Let the ideas flow. Even if you don't know what your end goal is going to be, that's totally all right. Just bring the people in, start the dialogue, get the work happening in terms of the percolation of the ideas, and you'll be surprised what comes up in the mix. Yeah, and because I'm just like, I'm already thinking of different things as Ankita, you're thinking, and Neha, you're thinking. That's it. We want the brain cogs to start swirling very quickly on this one. If you guys don't have anything else, my end is done. Neil, did you have any closing remarks?
I'll just thank you again, Saurabh, for preparing the slides and presenting it. Thank you to all the participants who have joined. And thank you all who are listening, will be listening this recording. This also shows that we have been constantly working in the background. And this also shows our promise and commitment, Nautanki Theatre's promise and commitment in the future. Definitely, this commitment is not going to stop in 2026. We are starting now. So there is a huge road to cover. And Nautanki Theatre, along with you, wonderful people, are really excited and committed to this project. So looking forward to working with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, just a question that I
Sure.
have just thought of. Do we have like a magazine or like a newsletter currently happening for Nautanki Theatre?
Yes. So we have a newsletter every month. I actually personally sit down and write without sort of. I'm a pen and paper person. I guess even the newsletter I have to sort of just write the whole thing in a paper, and then from paper I translate that onto digitally, okay, into the newsletter software. I write it every month. I will add you guys in that database.
Actually, I don't get it either, Neil.
So I realized I get the newsletters, which is my bad. But I was thinking like maybe like an end of year magazine or something that we can talk about the actual events that we run throughout the years and have like a summary of that. And then over the years we'll have our collection of
I am actually currently working on such newsletter or on that concept. It's called looking at the rear view mirror. Just to this looking at 2025, what Nautanki Theatre actually has done. So maybe I will actually split that idea in two newsletters. One is looking back 2025 and looking forward 2026. Every year in January also, Neha, I actually release the program for Nautanki Theatre, which I am also looking forward to do it this year. But this year, my challenge is because our program is primarily presented at Riverside Theatre. And with the closure of Riverside Theatre, literally, Nautanki Theatre is operating from the street. I do not have a venue. Okay. So we have a temporary arrangement currently. So let's see if I am able to do the season launch digitally, or maybe this in January or February. I actually will do the program launch. I haven't actually decided on that. I am meeting with my board in January I will actually discuss this proposal with them. But looks like doing it digitally will be a viable option for 2026. So let's see what happens.
I just was thinking, I don't know if you know, there's a word in Sanskrit called Singhavalokan.
Okay.
So Singhavalokan basically means as a lion is walking through the jungle,
Yeah.
at some point he stops and he looks back.
Uh-huh.
And he looks back at what he has achieved and then he moves forward.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that if you've got something rear view mirror, calling it Singhavalokan.
Sure.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Good.
Vedantic theory generally works on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Sure.
Neha's nodding her head on that.
Sure.
My Sanskrit is still there, but it's getting there slowly.
I haven't done exam content in like months now. It's not good.
Just so you know, Neil, actually, Neha teaches Sanskrit.
Yeah. She told us in the last session.
She wants me to be her student. I'm being very lazy. She doesn't know how bad a student I am.
we can
The
actually
table's
work.
turn.
Now we can work on that part as well. I mean, let's create some project around that idea as well, because someone in New South Wales, in Sydney, pursuing Sanskrit. It's amazing. Justin McDonnell, who is part of Nautanki's grant team. Justin in University of New South Wales studied Sanskrit some 50 years ago. So yeah, I will connect Justin with Neha. Yeah, we might actually have some topic to discuss. Yeah, amazing. Cool.
Any other questions, Neha, Ankita?
No, but I'll definitely bother you about them when
by all means, bother away. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the time that you've given us, and looking forward to exciting days ahead.
Amazing. Cool. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
See ya.
Okay. See ya. Bye.